Hi, third graders. We are going to continue with area for math, and today's calculating area is going to be a little bit hard. I'm sorry. Right? Get yourself a cup of coffee, massage your temples. Don't do this if you're super tired right now. Okay? It's going to take some thinking. And there's not a lot of questions to do when we're done, but it is going to take a lot of brain power to see how this works. Okay? So you might want to watch this video more than once, right? And be ready to go. You can do it. It's not impossible. It's just difficult, right? And I'm going to move you forward, down a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to be doing the area, which is length times width, but we're going to do it in a different way where we're going to add in this distributive property. Now remember this, we used the distributive property about 1,000,000 years ago, back in La La Land when we were all together in the classroom, right? The way we're going to use the distributive property with area is we're going to take a rectangle that's really big, that sides are maybe too big for us to multiply together, and we'll just split it into two rectangles and figure out their areas and then add them together. Okay? So, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to make a big rectangle. All right. And let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 11 units. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. This is 6 units, so that's not that hard to calculate. You guys know your multiples of 11. But let's say area equals the length times the width, which means that the area equals 11 times 6, which means the area equals 66 square units. All right, that's the way we have been calculating things all along. But let's say you don't know 6 times 11. Okay? You could create an easier problem out of this. Just cut it into two rectangles. And instead of having 11 units to multiply by, we distribute that 11 into two different triangles. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. And we will take the area of both and add them together and get the same 66 square units. Okay? So we know these two, this is length times width. So we have this 6 times 6. Now we have to know the length and the width of this rectangle. And this rectangle, this line is the same length as this line, same as this one too. So this length times width is also 5 times 6, right? And the way that we calculate that is to do the multiplication problems first. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 30, which equals 66 square units. What we did is we took one side and we distributed it into two. We have to multiply each of those by this side, though, to find the area of each rectangle. Add them together. This is this rectangle. Whoops, this is this rectangle. This is this rectangle. Add them together and we get the area of the entire thing. So we're distributing the amounts, distributing the area into smaller rectangles that are more workable. Let's try another one. And this one, we're not going to do the original rectangle first. Let's see here. Let's say we have this, and I'm just going to pick a spot. All right. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So these are my units. The entire thing then, that means that this entire thing, if it weren't 4 and 11, this would be 15. We'd have to do 15 times 5. It's a difficult problem. So here we'll do 4, and we'll make this 11. We have two rectangles. We find out the area of both those rectangles and then add them together. To find out the area of this rectangle, we need to do 11 times 5, because we need this. To do this rectangle, we need 4 times 5. right? So 4 times 5, and I put it in parentheses because I need to do that first, plus 11 times 5 is going to equal the area of the whole thing. I'd have 20 plus 55 would equal 75 square units. Pretty cool, eh? Okay, so let's say I'm going to do a harder one here so that you can see why you would want to even do this. That didn't make sense, right? Because sometimes, let's say that this is a room in a house. Okay, this is going to be hard. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Okay, let's say that this side is 21 units. And this is a room of a house. I'm trying to figure out how big the space is for carpeting. And that this is 8. Okay, 8 times 21. It's like difficult, right? But we could split this up. We could split up this 21. And an easy way to split up this 21 would be to do a 10 and an 11, or a 1 and a 20, right? So you decide how you want to do it. And you figure out how you're going to split the number that's difficult. When you split it, you have to multiply both by 8. All right, so I'm going to pretend I'm splitting it like this. And that for 21 units, I have to use all 21 units. I'm going to have an 11 and I'm going to have a 10 because I know that 11 plus 10 makes 21. So here I have my 21 units, right? I know that 11 times 8, and I know this is going to be 10 times 8. And those problems are much easier for me to do than 21 times 8. Right? So I would do 11 times 8, plus I have to add these together, so plus, 10 times 8. And I figure out each of my products, and I add them together to find my sum. My sum is going to be my answer. All right. If I can't solve that sideways, I can set it up like this. 8 will say 16. And I'm going to get 168 square units. Okay, that's a large amount. But we simplified it. Okay, this is very typical of a way somebody might figure out square footage in their house and things like that. Okay, so let's try one more. Let's do one where you can really kind of see. Let's say that this is 3 units, and then we have something like 18, right? So you probably don't know 18 times 3 off the top of your head. But there's an easy way to split this apart and then add those two products together, add those two rectangles together. So one way to split this apart that's easy is to do a 10 and an 8, right? So that means I'd end up with 3 times 10 plus 3 times 8, right? And then I have 30 plus 24, and then I end up with 54 square units. Okay? So, I understand that this one might be a little tough for you, and you might have to re-see this. Also, I'm going to show you another little part in the book that might be helpful to you. Okay? So, we just were doing this part right here, page 791, actually walks you through that process again. Okay? If we were in class, I would have you using graph paper and showing me the different, building the rectangles and then showing me the distributive property in that way with like different colors, much like this girl is doing in this picture. But it's hard for us to do that. You can practice that for sure. It's hard for us to do that together though. They also show you here some examples. And then what I want you to do is on page 793. These problems, they're walking you through how they distributed them, and you're going to be figuring out those products and then adding those products together. You have lots of space on the side if the products are big enough that you need to make a double-digit addition problem. Okay? In this one, they're asking you to figure out a distributed property. You can make lines in here to show it. Show how you would distribute it. I understand that you probably know 11 times 4. You know the area of the space, but they want to see how you could distribute this into two smaller rectangles. Okay, and I would like you to try all the way to the problems on this side. I understand that these are a little bit more difficult and they're very wordy, so you might need some help having somebody read through them with you a couple of times. Okay, if you get stuck on one, shoot me an email and say I'm stuck on number such and such, and I will help you through it. Okay, you're going to do page 793 and 794, and good luck and have a great day.